What's your unpopular opinion this week?
Breastfeeding is not free.
It's not free?
It's not free.
Really?
Yeah, it costs your time.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
It costs your mentality, your emotions.
Yes.
It costs your energy. There's a price to it, just that it's not monetary.
Okay.
I think it's more expensive, like
It's very expensive.
from financial and also
Have you
the
seen how
emotional
much
side of
formula
things.
is?
I don't even look.
Yo.
It's the politics of motherhood.
Welcome to the Politics of Motherhood.
Because everyone has an opinion about motherhood.
I'm Lynette.
And I'm Washuka.
And Washuka, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing well.
Uh-huh.
Can't
What's going
complain. Nothing much. Just motherhood.
Just being a mom. And what's your win in this motherhood journey?
I think, well, not motherhood journey, but just generally a big win. I like the reception that our podcast has taken.
Oh, it's fantastic, right?
The feedback that I've gotten from my friends has been amazing. I've had, you know how when we said this, we wanted it to sound like, a conversation between two friends having a coffee. That is actually coming out well from people. So tick on that. It's feedback on these conversations that we're having are actually needed. People are learning a lot, and we've been requested to show our faces.
I remember we were like, no.
Yeah.
But now we're like,
but we have
maybe.
some level of visibility in our individual social media accounts. So yeah, that has been my big win. I mean, like launching something and then having it such good reception, it's such a blessing. So our baby is doing well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, our shared baby.
I feel like I partly am part of the journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
And it's really good.
And
No, I totally love it because people have been reaching out and sometimes it's like after an episode, someone would say, oh, this is so interesting, or I learned something new here, or you mentioned this, are you okay, how's this going, and I've seen people have said you are the more fun co-host. I totally agree because I know myself.
I think you're equally fun.
If you say I am, maybe I am.
And the interesting thing is also guys are listening to us as well.
Yes.
I remember my friend told me like, hey, by the time I'm getting a wife and they're getting pregnant and they're getting a kid, I'll be a pro. I'll be teaching her these things.
Exactly. And I'm just proud of the fact that we are having conversations that personally I wish someone had told me about, and I really wish we had known some of these things. I read a lot of books and I listened to a lot of podcasts that exist would mention something about motherhood once but then move on to something else. So for me it's just been amazing. It's been amazing. So yes,
It's big win. Your big win.
And my big win this week is I started a new, maybe not a new journey really, but a new focus in how I'm doing motherhood and my professional life.
Okay.
And I'm actually quite excited about it because
what is that new journey?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur and a consultant, and sometimes there are some limitations when you're doing some certain pieces of work in how much you can talk about like your work and other things and stuff. But now part of that has ended, and now just kind of that focus on being an entrepreneur. I can tell in the last, few days of that how everything has changed, and now a bit more excited about being more available, for the kids. I know it's gonna get really busy, just shifting and focusing a lot more on entrepreneurship. But I'm really excited about that. I think it's gonna be a big win for me.
I think work is a conversation that we should have sometime soon.
We will have that conversation. We will have that conversation.
Yeah, so let's get right to it.
So what are we talking about today?
Sleep.
Oh, that thing called sleep. How's that going for you?
No?
I'm
doing well.
Oh.
Girl, I'm doing well. I can't complain.
You?
Honestly, like last night, my baby slept from, what time was it? 8 And you woke up today at 7?
That is the 4th trimester for the win.
Yeah. Yes. That's my small child. My newborn also slept. My firstborn slept from 7:30 to 7. So, and he didn't wake up.
Yeah.
So I'm getting sleep.
That is the best.
I'm happy.
That is the best.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting sleep because my kids 3 and 5 sometimes do wake up at night to come and say, Mama, my bonnet has fallen off, or we have a kind
Girl
of open door policy in my house.
Yeah.
So they just come in and sometimes they would come in and say, the night is taking forever. I want it to be morning. And I'm like, it's 3 a.m. What do you mean? Why do you want it to be morning?
Yeah.
Go back to bed.
Yeah.
So it's here and there, but I'm thankful that I do get to sleep.
Yeah.
I do get to sleep.
Yeah, but for me, it's not always been that way. Like, I guess it's just the age, the stage. But of course, the newborn phase of things, it's so hectic. I remember with my second one, I have really struggled to get used to that disrupted sleep during the newborn phase, because I have to wake up every 2 hours to feed. That was so tough because I was used to sleeping continuous sleep up to 8 hours. But then now,
when you were pregnant,
yes, let me tell you, people struggle with sleep when they're pregnant. I sleep.
Listen,
even in the 3rd trimester,
I am people.
Your people.
I am people.
I don't struggle.
Let's tackle this in 2 ways.
Yeah.
One, how do you sleep with your children? Do you co-sleep? Do they sleep in different rooms? And 2, the quality of sleep, which is on sleep itself. So let's start with, how do you sleep with your children? What's the sleeping arrangement in your household?
In their own beds.
Okay.
I am so scared of co-sleeping. I just feel like I'm gonna put a blanket on them and they won't be able to push it out of their face. But now I can sleep with my toddler, but then the toddler octopus behaviors I can't.
Right?
Yeah, no.
The worst.
So my kids always sleep on their own from the day they are born, from the hospital.
Separate rooms or in
my room, but just a separate bed. So my newborn, so I sleep with them until around 1 year. When they get to 12 months, I kick them out. So right now, my firstborn is in his own room, in his own bed. And then I sleep now with my newborn in a bassinet. Yeah, that's how I can't sleep with my baby at all. I'm scared.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you?
Well, the sleeping arrangement in my household is quite interesting, as we have discussed in the past, which is one, when at a certain point of pregnancy, I don't sleep with my husband. And when my kids are very young, he's also exiled so he has his own room. Because one, he snores, as most men do. And for that reason, it's like I am up a lot. And when you're pregnant, you definitely need some sleep, at least because I don't get very good sleep when I'm pregnant.
Is it from the word go or just that trimester?
From maybe like 4 or 5 months when the belly starts being visible and when you have to sleep with a pillow in between your legs. The end. I preserve his sleep because I turn a lot. You have to turn with the pillow. You have to do all sorts of things. You have to wake up and pee.
You actually wake up to turn.
So you wake up to turn. You wake up to pee so many times. So for me, sleep generally in pregnancy is disrupted quite a bit. Yeah. And then there's sleep with the baby. I co-sleep with the babies also because husband different bed. It's much easier to not worry, because I do worry about what if one of us turns and puts a blanket over the baby. So that way I'm able to co-sleep properly with the baby. It's much easier.
Do they sleep on the co-sleeper? Or
No,
do they sleep just on the bed? Okay.
On the bed. Well, there's a little kind of co-sleeping contraption, but it's not like a
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so they do have that more for their comfort than it is for anything else. But I'm very the way I put the blankets and everything, I have a whole formula to that. And then when the babies are about 3-4 months, then the husband can come back to the bed And the baby gets their own bed right next to me.
Yeah.
But
and they don't fuss, like being moved?
No, not really. Like from my experience, my babies are maybe because I have also, trained them with that like very strict schedule of you're fed after every 2 hours. So they kind of tend to have like, I'm sleeping for 2 hours, but in 2 hours when I turn. So that's basically how I sleep in my household.
And now that they're toddlers,
well, they have a bunk bed that they really love. I made it with love at my woodworking shop, and they really love it. And at night you can hear their up and down the stairs of their bunk bed. But I'm like, is anyone crying? No, I'm good. So they have their own room. They sleep there. I move them generally to their own room from about 14, 15 months. When they can kind of express themselves a little more. And my children, interestingly, don't sleep through the night until about 15 months.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that is the time I move them to the other side. With my second one, both my husband and I moved to his room and left her in the master bedroom because I didn't want to disrupt her environment.
Yeah.
But I also really needed to start sleep training. So at that point, I was like, if you can't smell the milk, you will sleep.
Yeah.
And then she started sleeping. And then I moved her to her sister's room.
Yeah.
Because I also did not want to move her because then she would disrupt her sister's sleep. So I was being kind to everyone. And thankfully we have enough room to be able to make these movements.
Yeah.
So from about 15 months, that's when I exile people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
A long time.
Yeah, that's a long
But
time.
I do enjoy sleeping with them when they're very small.
Yeah.
Because once they become toddlers, then they become little octopuses.
Oh,
And that's the worst.
you'll find a leg on your neck.
Listen, in your mouth. And you try to move it, then it's like, no, don't move me. That's my comfortable spot. Yeah.
Okay. How are we measuring quality? What's the
Quality
standard?
is a number of hours of your sleep and maybe how deep the sleep was. Because you could be in bed, but you're not asleep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's true. No, quality is good. As long as, let me tell you, first of all, I think the reason why my babies sleep is because I love sleep. There has to be some genetics.
Like mama, like baby.
Yeah. And even my husband is the same. So the fact that our kids sleep through the night, I'm not surprised. So quality is good. Unless there's something stressing me, that's when it will be affected. Because there's days when you have light sleep, when you're thinking about stuff, right? You feel like you're asleep, but you're awake.
Yeah.
That light sleep, nah, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
I feel like you wake up tired.
You wake up more tired. Yeah, agreed. But on most days, quality of sleep is good. Yeah, and for the kids as well, because they're growing and adding weight as they should. So it should be fine. They're getting it right.
Oh, that's good. I think for me, interestingly, last week, my kids' nanny was traveling, so I was generally I don't put my kids to bed because they take me through this dance and we can be there for about an hour. Like my kids go to bed at about 7:15, 7:30.
Yeah.
So we would do our evening thing, and then someone else would put them to bed. So before she leaves. And last week she was not around, so I was putting the kids to bed. And so we came up with this thing of one day they can do fun facts. Fun facts is they get to learn about different things.
Yeah.
We watched this mini series called Dr. Binocs, which is really fun. They learn about planets, about the body, about stuff. They enjoy it because it's on the iPad, so it's a little cheats thing because I generally don't allow them on my iPad. So it would be one day we read a bedtime story, another day we do this. And I noticed that they go to bed and they did not wake up at night. But then other days when someone else puts them to bed, sometimes they would wake up at night and come with their bonnet issues and tired of the night and of the dark and everything. But I realized that when I tell them to sleep, if I say, it's the holidays, do not wake up until 7, they come in at 3 just to show you that they did not listen. When the nanny says, tomorrow make sure you don't leave bed before 8, they actually don't leave bed before 8. Like one would wake up, go look at the clock, and come back and tell the sister, it's not 8. Let's go back to bed because Mimi said we stay in bed.
Yeah.
But when Mama says it, and they just don't listen.
Yeah.
They just so I insist that they sleep early and try to sleep, like wake up late, because I also know how important it is because they both don't sleep during the day now, except for when they're in school, the little one does. How important sleep is for the children.
Absolutely. It's so critical. Sleep is not just about rest.
No.
It's how they're able to learn. That's where the brain starts slowing down, consolidating memories, consolidating what they learned during the day. It's so key for their growth and development. Like I hear moms saying, my baby does not sleep the entire day so they can sleep at night. I'm like, your baby will also not sleep at night.
Yeah.
Because they are stressed.
Yeah.
They are stressed and they'll just keep waking up.
It's the same thing for adults. Sometimes when you're super tired, it's difficult to actually sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
And that's
struggle.
when you talk about the brain. That's when the brain also refreshes.
Yeah.
That's when it's garbaging out and stuff. So
filtering things.
Yeah.
Okay, this was important to learn.
Yeah.
How do we do that, etc., etc. So sleep is not just about rest. It helps your baby grow, helps them learn. All those milestones that they're hitting is because they sleep. And it's very interesting that I got to learn that there's times of the day that sleep is restorative. It's times from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then from noon to 2. Those are the slots where sleep is most restorative for your baby. After 3 p.m., it's just vibes. It's just to prevent over-tiredness before bedtime comes. And also at night, it's from about 7, 8 till midnight. And then the rest of the night, they're just in light sleep mode. They can wake up anytime.
That explains
when they hear
my 3 a.m.
something drop, they're awake. Yeah. So our sleep is so crucial.
That's quite interesting. Sometimes you could be out as an adult at night and you see, like, you're maybe at a restaurant and you see parents there at 10, 11 p.m. with children. And I'm that person who's like, why is that child not in bed? What is this child doing out here? I admit I am that person who's out here judging all of y'all and wondering,
I think I'd fall in that judgment.
I was like, why is this 3-year-old so active at 11 p.m.?
Yeah.
They should be asleep. Like, I guard sleep, and I think sleep is very sacred. Maybe that's why, even for me, like, if you wake me up when I shouldn't be up, I get very annoyed. Like, I get really, really annoyed. And one thing that I listened to actually this week was a diabetes doctor talking about, some of the causes of diabetes. And she said it's not just food and lack of exercise, it's also lack of sleep because of the amount of cortisol buildup in your body and how then the body reacts to sugar and stuff, and it was quite interesting. Yeah,
and also if you also want to lose weight, sleep is key.
There's that too.
If you want to avoid heart attack, sleep is key.
There is that.
And I was seeing something, and I don't know why I didn't dwell in it, but it was saying if you sleep 8 hours from 1 a.m. to, when does 8 hours sleep? At 9 a.m. Yeah, that is not the same as sleeping from 10 to 5 kind of thing. It's not the same kind of sleep. So quality of sleep also matters, and the time also matters.
Because that's where you wake up and you feel like you have a hangover. You're like, why do I have a headache? I slept. I did not drink
but you just didn't sleep at the right time.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. And let's cover the basics first. So how do your babies sleep? Do you swaddle your baby? Do you do they sleep on their back or on their tummy? do they sleep on a sleeping sack? Do you use a blanket? What else? Do you have dollies in their cot in the baby sleeping area? Yeah. How is the sleep hygiene?
Yes. So between 0 and 14 months, when they're co-sleeping with me, us in the bedroom, they have a sleeping sack. I do not do blankets. I do sleeping sacks. If I'm somewhere with a
14
baby,
months.
Yes.
But they're rolling already. They usually recommend you chuck the sleeping sack when they start rolling.
Listen, I've done it with 2 children. I'm fine. Because I find that because they wear it, and it's because when they're sleeping, they're not rolling in their sleep and stuff, as often, at least. So for me, I find that a lot safer than using a blanket, because a blanket is movable and stuff. And if I'm somewhere and they need to be somewhere without the sleep sack and they need to have a blanket, I make sure I tuck it under their arms, I'm that overthinker, and tuck it in this. Even now with my 5 and 3-year-old, when I put them to bed, I tuck the hell out of that blanket onto the sides, because I'm you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Then they sleep on their backs, not on their tummy. So, even now, they still sleep on their backs. Even I sleep on my back, because I'm also I love sleeping on my back. And sometimes that's kind of my struggle during pregnancy, because you need to sleep on the side and stuff. I just enjoy sleeping on the back. Yeah, so that's.
Do they have what are they called? Soft toys?
No.
So it's a clear bed.
It's a clear bed up till 14 months. In fact, till longer, till maybe 2 years. Even when they go to their own beds with the little ones, I don't do any toys.
Yeah.
But now they have the 3 and 5-year-olds. They have their little stuffies. They actually call them stuffies.
That's the word I was looking for. I kept calling them plushies.
Plushy stuffies. They have their little ones. They've named them. They can't sleep without them. And sometimes, when they're washed, we're in trouble. But no, when the baby is small, nothing at all. No blanket in the crib. We only have the what is it called?
The bumper.
Yeah, the cot bumper.
Yeah.
Because, just when they're rolling, they could hit themselves and stuff. But apart from that, it's just a clear with a fitted sheet. Just a fitted sheet, baby, and a cot bumper, and that's it. And then the cot has an opening towards my bed. That's it. Yeah.
So you've actually followed the study as it should. Wow.
Oh, is that the?
Yes, that's the recommended.
Okay, interesting. What about you?
I am a divergent on the recommendation. So when my babies are born, they'll sleep on their back, for about 3-4 weeks. They'll sleep on their back. I use blankets. I don't use sleep sacks. I don't swaddle.
No swaddles either, yeah.
So against swaddling. Why are you trying to control the subtle reflex? It's part of their bodies. It's a part of them regulating the nervous system. Just let it be. Anyway, yeah. So I don't swaddle. I use a blanket. And then when they hit 4 weeks, I put them on their bellies.
Interesting. Is there a reason?
Because they sleep better.
Okay.
My babies sleep. Okay, most babies sleep better on their tummies. So, especially with my second one, what I noticed is when you're sleeping on his back, he had so much reflux. And I would just hear him gagging, and it's so scary.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually so scary.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sleeping really well. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how long, because they recommend you burp him, mid-feed, end-feed, hold him for 20 minutes before you put him down. I would do all that. But still, I hear my baby, I'm like, oh Lord, is he dying? Is he okay? What's happening?
Yeah.
So I usually now start putting them on their tummies. So what I do is I start putting them on their tummies during the day for their day naps, so that I can see how they behave when they wake up. Because most times they're on their tummies, they'll sleep on one side. Most times.
Yeah.
But then I also observe, okay, if they want to change sides, are they able to fully turn their heads,
yeah.
and completely rest. Is like, will their face be stuck on the pillow? On the mattress, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I observe that until I'm comfortable. When I see they're able to turn their heads, now we move to the night. Now they can sleep on their tummies at night. So I would be doing a hybrid of both at some point, where he's sleeping on his tummy during the day, then in the night he's on his back. But after a few days, I'm usually comfortable, and now he goes fully on his belly and he sleeps.
That is so interesting.
He sleeps.
As
so
you're speaking, in my head, I'm like, motherhood is a series of empirical studies, because this can be a whole academic paper.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Like, what were your findings? Your sleep findings? Yes.
Yeah. So I've had moms come to my DMs, because sometimes I would post my kid on the belly, and they're like, oh, you put your baby on your belly, and they're like, oh yeah, me too. And I feel so bad about doing it, because it's not what people usually do.
Yeah.
So when I see you doing it, I'm like, oh, okay, doing it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I find it comfortable for my kids.
I think for me, I haven't maybe thought too much about why. Of course, you're told like it's easier when they move, they have air circulation. But for me, it's because I just want to see them. I want to see, your face. Are you okay? Are you able to, move? Are you? And then also like swaddling. I don't do that, because I like, if someone just put me, it feels like a straight jacket, to be honest. In that position for 2 hours, like, because I don't know if you've seen that compilation of videos of babies just being released from a swaddle, and they throw their hands up, and they're stretching, and they're like, yeah, that must have been a lot.
Yeah.
To be very honest, and this might also be kind of a bit of an unhinged opinion, is I think there's an over-commercialization of everything sometimes. So it could be like, because if you look at how many swaddles there are in the market, like, this is better for you, baby. At the end of the day, you're tying, kids' hands and whole body into into a singular position and stuff. So for me, I don't like it. I'm like, that's why I like the sleep sack. Like, they can move their hands, they can, stretch if they need to during their sleep. Of course, you're told that, they get settled at a little more than if they were, and then they wake up and like, they're awake. And just keep it moving.
Continue.
Yeah.
So I don't have any toys in the bed. It's just a mattress, a blanket, and a simple bassinet. That's it. And then now for my toddler, it's just a duvet. I don't even put that cot bumper. So in the middle of the night, you can just hear his head being hit. I'm like, oh. Oops.
No, like, even for my kids now, we don't do the cot bumper is when they're in
when they're young, before they move to the adult bed.
But after that, I'm like,
But when I had my firstborn, I just realized how sleep in the first year is so all over the place. Like, there's so many dynamics. I'm like, what is all this? I didn't know then that there's stuff like age-appropriate wake windows. There is a circadian rhythm. That's why you're told, let the baby sleep in broad daylight. And then when it's nighttime, it's dark, blah, 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 to set their internal clock. The circadian rhythm is the internal clock. Yeah. So there's so many variables about sleep, and it's insane.
How do you sleep as someone who co-sleeps, generally like shares a room with their baby? How do you like your room? Do you like it dark? Do you like it light? So, there are people who sleep with no curtains.
That's a good question. I like it dark. But now, so the first 4 to 6, 8 weeks, my sons sleep outside in the sitting room where there's broad daylight for their day naps. And then at night, of course, they'll be in the room, dark blackout curtains. But at some point, at 8 weeks, I realized that they are more aware of light, they're more aware of sounds, and that wakes them up. So if you're putting them out in a sitting room where there's everything happening, they actually don't get sleep. So at 8 weeks and I now do the day naps in the room where it's dark. Noise, I can't do much about noise because I have a toddler now. But when it was his time, it was quiet. It was nice, peaceful. But now he's not bringing the quietness to the little man now. But anyway, part of growing up. Yeah, so now I do my day naps in the dark, blackout curtains. And then when he wakes up, we'll just open them and then he'll know it's daytime. So that's how I do my sleeping. How do you do your sleeping for your kids?
That is so interesting. Well, one, for me, when they're little, all naps are in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. None are intentionally done in the living room. So for me, it is all asleep, bedroom.
Yeah.
And then I also love a dark room. Like for me, and I struggle with this when for instance, I'm traveling or in a hotel and like there are little red LEDs from the TV, from the light, from like I travel around with stickers. I'm that person who unplugs everything in a hotel room and stuff because I need my room to be completely dark. So I do the same for the kids. So we generally don't do like lights when sleeping, even during the day, like go into the room, close all the curtains and do everything, make the room like quiet and cool and conducive for like a sleep environment. At least for me, that's how I define it. So I don't personally, I don't sleep during the day. I struggle unless I'm really tired.
Yeah.
I struggle to sleep during the day. So I guess the children must have followed that. My husband can't sleep anywhere. You know him. He's so
can't sleep or can't sleep.
Can't sleep anywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
His Sunday midday nap is sacred to him. You know, it just like goes and dozes off. And since I have known him, but for me it's like no, I can't, like I struggle to sleep during the day. So my kids up until 3 years they do the day naps as well, like continue on with the day naps. They generally go to school a few months before they're 4 years old.
Yeah.
And now in school they have like it's like what do they call it? Baby class. They have the midday sleep. And every day I'd pick up like this one did not sleep. She was just here telling people stories. She was, they get really excited and stuff. But otherwise, like for me, kids should just sleep whenever they want to sleep. If I see you dozing, my small one will say, "Mama, I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes." Like, I wonder who else said that. Mugabe. But, it's so funny. Like, for me, it's if you want to sleep, sleep. You know? And I'm reminded of our mothers who would be like, "Why are you still sleeping? You should be awake." This is laziness.
Exactly. I have trauma around that. That's why I can't sleep during the day.
Yeah.
Because the beating I have gotten from my mother for sleeping during the day.
Yeah. And that's maybe a cultural thing that we need to also end, I think. Like, let people sleep.
Yeah.
You know, why are you awake if you want to sleep? And I tell the people that I work with, including the nannies, like, if you feel sleepy, just sleep. You know, you're gonna be a better human being afterwards. Yeah. Because I go like the times I've walked out of an office, if I feel sleepy, I just go to the car and I sleep. Just lower the windows, knock off for 15-20 minutes, and you're good. Yeah. So there should be a sleep movement. We should have like a sleep protest. Just go and just sleep on the road for like an hour or two or something. Yeah, sleep is very sacred.
It is.
Sleep is very, very important.
It is.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned briefly about sleep training. So how did that go? When did you start? What method did you use?
I generally don't sleep train.
Okay.
Before like 12 months.
Okay.
Like, I don't actively do anything
about sleep.
Yeah. I say if a baby wakes up, they wake up for a reason. If they sleep, they sleep. I remember the first day my baby, like, I think she went to bed at maybe like 8, and I've been very consistent. The one thing I've been consistent is we'll try to be in bed at about 7 something.
Yeah.
So by 8 you're out. You can wake up at 9, it's fine, but we tried. So that's how they go to bed now at like 7:30 max. And the first day she slept till 3 a.m. In fact, I didn't let her sleep till 3 a.m. I woke up at 1 and I was like, no, just wake up. Just let's make sure you're alive. It was very scary for me because I was like, this baby wakes up every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So the first 1 year, I don't actively try to do anything around, because in the first 1 year, I also have accepted that babies wake up. So I don't stress myself out with, they're not sleeping, I'm like, babies wake up. So the first 1 year, no effort at all towards, like, if you wake up and you want to be fed, I'll feed you. After 1 year, now you start also getting a bit tired after being sleep deprived for that long. And then, as I mentioned, at 14 months, moved out of the room and left her. We went through, like, for me it was, did you eat? Yes, you did. Are you okay? Yes. Are you in a safe environment? Yes. I will let you, like, maybe cry, have one cry, and then go back to sleep, and then start observing after that. And then after 3 days, sleep training says that after 3 days of consistently, like, letting your child maybe try to regulate, they can go to sleep. Because I also now know at that point, it's also not sustainable for them to be waking up that often at night. But before that, for me, I'm like, I'll feed you when you need to be fed and stuff. And then another thing, while I'm at that, is when I transition the kids to their own beds at like 14, 15 months, they start to sleep with like a bottle of milk. So when they wake up, like, to also, start teaching themselves to reach out for the milk in their non-spill cups and take it. And then at about 2 years, we switch that out with water, or for water. So then as soon as we switch it with water, they're like, ugh, that's not as yummy as milk. Yeah. Let me just go back to bed. And then, but as I've said, till today, I still have little people coming in to wake me up. So
the night is too long. No, that's actually funny, because I sometimes feel the night is too long.
Yeah. That days you're like, how is
I
it
don't
still
have anyone
3 a.m.?
to disturb to wake up. That's funny.
So that's how I do sleeping. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sleep trained. I sleep trained the first 1 year of life. So how it started is at around, 9 weeks, I noticed my son is not protesting sleep. So we are sleeping at 11 p.m. At 12. I'm like,
is it for both or for the
No, for
one?
my first one.
Okay.
You see, now the first one was a learning ground. Now it's a bit different.
Yes.
So my first baby. Hey, I'm like, why the heck are we sleeping at 11? So I don't even have time, and I can't put him down because he'll get fussy. So I was like, nah, there has to be something I can do about this. So I reached out to a sleep trainer. Luckily, she was running. It was in December, so she was running a sale for her sleep training course. I was like, yes, okay, let's do this. Yeah, so that's how I started sleep training, and the method we used. A gentle method approach, no crying it out kind of thing. So when we started, it was about building a schedule and setting the circadian rhythm, the internal clock. So it was, okay, every single day, we're waking up at a particular time. I think it was at 8 a.m. when we started. 8 a.m., we're up, we're opening curtains, we are having activity in the house, we are making noise so that okay, daytime has started. Then we did a schedule now for his particular age. How long should he be awake for? Okay, if it's 1 hour, 5 minutes before it's time for him to sleep, we go to the room and start closing curtains and start winding down. Then it's time to sleep. I remember when we started, it was really tough because she was recommending that the baby gets swaddled. my son for 9 weeks has not been swaddled a day in their life. So he was just looking at me like, Mom, what the heck are you doing? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, man? What is all this? So he would cry. He would really cry.
When he was swaddled.
Yeah, when he was swaddled. So I told the lady, like, okay, I know this is what you normally do, but this something that I've been doing that does not involve this. So can we try my way? I will follow your schedule, blah, blah, blah. But let's try my way of sleeping that he knows. And it worked. So my sleep training is around schedules, observing the age-appropriate wake windows, winding them down for sleep. And then at some point, I don't know how many, I think at maybe 14 weeks, if I'm not wrong, just before the 4-month regression. Yeah, we now taught the independent sleep training, independent sleep something. Yeah, just trying to teach them how to self-settle, because babies usually sleep in cycles of 30 to 45 minutes. So you need to teach them how to link those sleep patterns, those sleep cycles, so that they can sleep for longer. So how we taught this was pat shushing. So when the baby wakes up, don't pick them up first. You pat shush, you pat their bum, as you're saying, to create the white noise, and then they are able to go back to sleep. And then you start putting them to bed when they're slightly drowsy, so they can learn to fall asleep on their own. So that is important, because when they wake up in the middle of the night and they're not hungry, their diaper is not wet, they can easily fall back to sleep. So that's how our sleep training journey was. It became difficult. So with that, I didn't get to feel the 4-month regression, because it's normally really tough. We just coasted through it. I'm seeing moms in my age group. They're like, oh, my baby is not sleeping. I'm like, oh, my baby's sleeping. So we were able to coaster through that regression. But the challenge we had was at 9 months, when they now are having separation anxiety. The boy refused to be left alone to sleep. He would cry. And at this point, they can stand. They can crawl. They can walk a bit if they're supported. So that was really tough, man. I think at that point I was meant to do cry it out, but I couldn't do it.
It's crying it out is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult, yeah.
I can't. It's really tough. So what we started doing, a bad habit, we started sleeping with him. He falls asleep. Like, I will put him on the bed when he's awake. We fall asleep together, then I move him back to his baby cot. But since he has independent sleep training techniques, he'll be able to sleep through the night. Yeah. So 9 months was tough. But then now, till date, we still sleep with him, then transfer him to the bed, kind of thing. But with the nanny, he's 2 years now. With the nanny, he's able to sleep on his own. So the nanny will just put him on his bed and he's like, Lala, good night.
That's it. The end.
And he sleeps. I'm like,
isn't it always amazing how children behave around other people?
Yeah.
The same thing I said about like when I try to put them to sleep, they'll tell me stories, they will ask questions, they will. When the nanny does it, it's like, okay, everybody in bed, see you tomorrow, good night. Closes the door. Like, that's
that
it.
Easy?
The end? Is that the end? And I think for me, like, with both of them, it's easier for the second one, because then she learns from the first one. Mm-hmm. But the first one, when we now moved her to her own room and not having a live-in nanny, so she was, there by herself, is put her in, okay, good night, mama loves you, see you tomorrow, bye, and close the door. And the first few days, she was fuzzy and stuff. But then at a point, for me, it was important to put her in with a stuffy. Like, it's okay if you want to play with your stuffy, that's fine. But I'm gonna leave you here by yourself. Yeah. And for me, that's where the sleep blanket,
sleep sack.
Yeah, the sleep sack came in handy, because I start sleep training at a point where they can jump out of their bed. where they're standing, they can walk, and they're like, that's not too far, I can do this. So the sleep sack actually helps with that. And then of course they learn how to open it, so you have to find those that have zippers from the bottom to the
it becomes a bit more difficult to open.
So at a point I made them a bed, or I made her a bed that had a door. So I was like, if you wake up, just open here and come out. You don't have to jump out, because I was like, so it had a little bed door and stuff. To now transitioning to a point where it's like, when you're in your room, I don't want to see anyone until morning. Understood? Okay, love you, good night, and bye. So it's and I find that sometimes it's also different for different babies. There's some you can do everything and nothing comes out of it, and there's some you can do nothing and they're like, and maybe because I grew up in the village, for me it's like, what did my mother do, or what did my cousins or my neighbors or relatives do? And it's time to sleep, you sleep, it's time to wake up, you wake up. I'm like, just leave it. But when we're talking about that, it's good for kids. How is sleep for you as an adult, as a mom?
It's good.
Wow.
I mean, for as long as the baby is sleeping, for as long as I'm not having to wake up to breastfeed every so often, I'm fine.
Do you speaking of breastfeeding, do you do the bottle? Do you...
No. Funny. So it's very interesting how you become a different mom with different babies that are your own. So with my firstborn, at night, yes, I would breastfeed from my boob. And then my husband would do one of the feeds at night in the wee hours of the morning. But with my secondborn, he's not even started bottle feeding. So
at what point do you start bottle feeding?
With my firstborn, I started the minute we got back to hospital.
From hospital?
Like when we got home from hospital, he started bottle feeding.
Okay.
This one, my second one, Luca, he has not had a bottle a day in his life.
Is there anything that influenced like the decision for the first one versus the second one?
I think with the first one, I was very a stickler of things. Like, I want independence. I don't want the baby to get so used to me. I don't know. I think you just listen to what mamas say. I just wanted that level of independence. But right now, I think I hate pumping more than I do. Breastfeeding. It's exactly waking up. Yeah, I'm really struggling to pump. And I don't mind. Like, now I have my baby here in studio, I don't mind coming with him anymore. With my first one, I could never. It felt like I was being tied down. But then I think it's hindsight and it's experience of, I can do, like, this child is not holding me down. Like, I can move around with them. I'm not a stickler of schedules like I was with my firstborn. I remember with my firstborn, when it's time for him to sleep, even though we're in church, I'm telling my husband, rock the baby. He needs to sleep now. It's 8:55. He needs to sleep by 9, kind of thing.
It's his time.
Right now, he can sleep when he wants to sleep. Even with my firstborn, if you're out for a party, if you're at my mom's place, and we're sleeping late, I'm like,
it's okay.
It's okay. He'll sleep when he sleeps. It's fine. Let him enjoy. I mean, you only live once. There'll come a time when you can't be roaming around like this.
That is so interesting. I asked that question for 2 reasons. One, there's studies that say that mothers are like shift workers. It's like a shift worker at night, mostly just awake, and how much sleep mothers actually lose or get. And then there is, of course, this movement of another podcast. We should start writing down this list of things that we need to talk about. The child-free movement. And one of the things that people talk about is, I slept through the night, guess what, because I don't have babies, kind of thing. And that's really the genesis for that question of, are you losing out of sleep and maybe a good time and rest because you have children?
Yeah, that's an important question. I think, as I said in last week's episode, motherhood has become my whole identity, and I just don't mind it. Like, it's a season. I mean, if you're not gonna sleep, you're just not gonna sleep.
Yes,
and that's okay.
Acceptance.
Exactly, it's acceptance. I want kids, and this is what kids come with.
Yeah.
So the only way I can make it easier for myself is if I just accept and move.
and I think that's actually very important, and it's something that we've discussed as well, which is it's knowing what season of life are you in. What does that season come with?
Yeah.
And accepting it and kind of just creating your life in a way that accommodates that. Of course, the sleep while the baby sleeps, movement is also a bit of a lie, because sometimes, the baby sleeps when you want to be awake. You're an adult, you have other things to think about.
Yeah, you want to watch TV. You have another child.
Who you are also denying some time, right? So it's a lot. But it's also, because there's also a lot of that, I don't want to call it regret, really, but that conversation around, my baby doesn't sleep, I'm not sleeping, and it becomes part of the contributing factors to postpartum depression,
for sure.
Because women are not being prepared for what comes with being a mother. Being a mother of a newborn, for example. You just told, here's the baby, okay, all the best, see you in 6 weeks.
2 weeks.
And that's, is it 2 weeks or 6 weeks?
2 weeks and 6 weeks.
Sure, it's been a while. And after the 2 weeks, it's, how's the baby doing? Yeah, they're gaining weight. They're, the 6 week is the mother check.
Yes.
And at 6 weeks, it's the, now you can go back to having sex. You're healing properly. No one ever talks about, are you sleeping?
Yeah.
Are you not sleeping? And it's, you can now go back to taking care of your husbands. Like,
hey, taking care of, whoa, you're using big words.
Exactly. So there's that people don't talk about sleep in those 6 weeks or in however long, whether you should sleep train or not sleep train. One of the reasons I know that I don't sleep train is, and maybe I overextended it, is, the fact that babies need a certain amount of calories when they are a certain age. So babies straight out of the hospital or straight out of your womb should not be sleeping through the night, for example, because they need a certain number. And sometimes, women give birth, and as soon as they get home, their first stress point is, when are we sleep training? Which is, for me, is like, it's not going to be good for the child, because they won't
gain weight.
Yeah, they're not gaining weight, and then that's going to be a stress point for you at week 2, because you're told, they've lost too much weight, and then you lose your milk because you're like, am I not feeding? Am I, So sleep is very important, and kind of the first few weeks and months of a child, it's the opposite, that the first few weeks they're not sleeping through the night, and maybe that's a good thing for them, because they're waking up to feed. And then they get to a point where they should be sleeping for longer, because that's going to be good for their brain development and all of that.
And also, like, the first weeks, the reason why the baby wakes up as often also, it's for your milk supply to establish as well.
Yes, because the longer they're not feeding,
then
also
the body
starts
is like,
reducing.
we don't need that much milk, so let's double down, kind of thing. So I had a very interesting experience with my second born. I didn't wake him up. The strict every 2 hour mark. That
was me.
I never woke up. Okay, well, they say never wake up a sleeping baby. And I agree. If they're gaining weight, if they're healthy, if they're sick, if you're not concerned about anything, don't wake them up. So this dude would do stretches of 3 hours at newborn stage.
3 hours is not bad.
3 hours is not bad, I think.
Yeah, 3 hours is good.
But there's a time I tried to wake him up in hospital. I'm like, feed. He closed his mouth.
Oh yeah, no, when they are like 2 days old,
Mom, leave me alone.
They sleep all the time. Yes.
I tickle. nothing.
Yeah,
is
because they
working.
tell you tickled
Yeah.
their souls. You know,
So I said to myself, you know what? When you're hungry, you'll wake up.
yeah. Hunger will wake you
Yeah,
up.
you know what? You will wake up and I will feed you. The food will be ready for you. Don't worry. It's okay. Yeah.
I'll be here.
But the firstborn, every 2 hours I'm there. Wake up. Time to feed. Remove diaper. Do what?
Firstborn, let me tell you, the learning curve with the firstborn is it's very, very steep. It's one of those things you're like, why is husbands should carry some of this
burden,
especially from a mental, like they should have a trigger in them that is like, this kid needs to wake up now. I need to do this, and I think for me, kind of a final point around sleep, and the question around like why I the first few weeks also don't sleep with my husband in the same bed, or don't share a bed with my husband, is it almost became a source of my postpartum depression. The fact that he's asleep, he's sleeping completely,
snoring.
You
won't even hear the baby.
And then in the morning, like, hey babe, how did you sleep? I'm like, sleep when?
What is
What
that?
are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then you ask him how he slept. He's like, oh, like a baby. I'm like, which baby? Yeah, I slept well. I slept through the night. I'm not like, what do you mean you're sleeping?
Yeah.
And I'm not. So
No,
for
I
me,
get
it was easier. Like, let me also just not see you sleep.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay for me to not, because in that moment you start questioning. In those moments I used to like turn, loudly, or turn in a way that would wake him up a little, like suffer with me. I can't be suffering alone. And that's not good for anyone, because you're both cranky in the morning and you're both, and I was like,
no, I experienced that the first few weeks when the baby was waking up frequently. There's a day I actually took the changing mat. It's a flexible one, and I hit him.
It gets to that point. It does.
He's just snoring.
Yeah.
And you're there just breastfeeding. You're so tired. He's not even gonna move. Like, the baby will cry. He won't even move.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, please.
I
hit him.
I think for me, it's the thing that they say that women are more inclined to hear like baby cries,
and it's a plus neuroplasticity.
Men, yes, about. Men are more inclined to hear like danger,
security related stuff.
We live in apartments now. There's no danger, so wake up with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think what we usually do with my husband to share the load a bit is he does the diaper changes. So he'll wake up, I will wake him up, do the diaper change,
wakey,
then you can go back to sleep. Because I'm like, you're gonna sleep anyway, like, and it doesn't matter if you're making noise, the baby's crying, you're gonna sleep.
Yeah.
So you might as well just wake up for a few minutes, change the diaper, give me the baby, I'll breastfeed, and I'll put them back to sleep.
Yeah.
At least let's just have that balance.
Let's have a balance. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, but the first weeks, before we now had that rhythm going, I was getting so pissed.
Right?
I was getting so angry. Like, you can literally feel your heart pounding, your blood is boiling. I'm like, this man, where did I have his children?
It's all love.
It's all love, yeah.
Yes,
so sleep is such an important thing.
So dear mama, wherever you are, please make sure you sleep. Try to sleep as much as possible. And do sleep when the baby sleeps.
Truly, try.
Especially at night. So we're coming to the end of the episode. And before we do, what's your unpopular opinion this week?
Breastfeeding is not free.
It's not free?
It's not free.
Really?
Yeah, it costs your time.
Oh, okay.
It costs your mentality, your emotions.
Yes.
It costs your energy. There's a price to it, just that it's not monetary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me...
But you save a lot of money, though.
You do. It's not free, like... It's free financially. Yeah. But then not in the other things. But when you think about the other elements of like baby formula and stuff, it's also not it's financially there, but it also requires all these other things, prep.
I think it's more expensive, like
It's very expensive.
from financial and also
Have you
the
seen how
emotional
much
side of
formula
things.
is?
I don't even look.
Yo, there's a time, especially during COVID,
Yeah.
I think babies were weaned at like 3 months
We.
because a can of formula was like 4,000 shillings. And that's for like a week.
Kids, yeah, that's a week. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like interesting. And I think for me, and I'll segue that into my unpopular opinion, which is formula should be the exception and not the norm. But it's just been made the norm now. And there's a whole documentary about the conspiracy of formula and how this big company
Is this
brought
the one that was
formula.
done by a local journalist?
I think so. No. It wasn't a local journalist because
Okay.
it's covered like folks in West Africa and stuff
But
as well.
the journalist was African, was Kenyan.
I don't remember if the journalist was Kenyan,
Okay.
but was probably African. But it might be the same one, where it was like moms straight in the hospital, were introduced to formula, and
Yeah.
then, as we have just mentioned,
Yeah.
if you don't breastfeed, your milk supply goes down. And what happens when your milk supply goes down?
You would depend on the formula.
You're going to depend on the formula.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my grandmother used to say, when my firstborn sister was born, the program reached my village, and she
Wow,
was fed
okay.
formula for some time, and my grandmother had to insist on, like, no, you should feed. You should give the baby breast milk. And so this is not to shame anyone who's using formula or, but for me, it is that formula truly should be the exception and not the norm. But now it has become the norm. And now it's become the norm in a way that we've been conditioned that children up to 4 years, there's formula for kids up to 4 years.
Yeah, why do they need that?
And you're like, to each their own, I guess. But,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think formula, I mean, if a mom chooses to use formula from the get-go, please,
Go for
freedom
it.
of choice,
Yes.
go for it. But if you take formula because you think you don't have enough milk,
Yeah.
imagine.
Or some people do it because they say, oh, if I breastfeed, my boobs will
Oh
sag.
God, vanity.
My body will not bounce back. I need to,
Yeah.
the process of also reducing milk, you could get infection, you could get blocked ducts and blocked everything, and that process, this painful breast and stuff, just suppressing your milk naturally is quite difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, fine, if you want to do it, do it. Breast is best, but fed is also best. And if the way breast production works is the more you take out, the more the body produces. So you just keep breastfeeding, literally keep the baby on the boob if you have to.
Yes,
Your body will catch on.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lynette.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the politics of motherhood.